Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I guess this is it. So we're starting off our Friday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, by checking in with each other here on this live stream. I don't think this is gonna work the way I intended it to, but we're gonna roll with it. Okay. So it's been what? A minute. Okay, so I think it's officially time to say hi and adjust the lighting just a little bit, maybe. Okay, yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've done a live stream at all. I think at least 6 months. Whew. So hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to the English Sanctuary. If we were to meet like I intended it to, so horizontally, then you would be able to, hello, then you would be able to properly admire the setup. But I think I started this live stream vertically and we're gonna roll with it because I don't know how to change that. So welcome. This is the first live stream that I'm doing in 2025. I want this to be an ongoing event where we hang out, talk, chill, have a very meaningful conversation about learning English, using English, and living with English. And we're gonna be here for around 45 minutes to an hour. So if you don't have anything to drink, grab your water, grab your coffee, tea, whatever you need. I'm just gonna take a sip and we're gonna talk about what English Sanctuary is and how we, all of us, can use this time together to grow, to learn, to inspire one another, and to end feeling like we've learned something new. Okay? So, cheers. Ooh, it feels so good. It feels so good to be here. And I'm really digging my anti-spot stars on my face. Okay, so what we're doing here is called a sanctuary for a reason, and now is the time when we will go into what this means. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There is a lot, and there always has been, but especially now. And if you're a learner of English, and if you're following the news of what's going on everywhere, even this week has been just purely crazy when it comes to events in the world. We, myself included, may all feel like there is just too much pressure to exist sometimes, to purely function, let alone learn something new or improve ourselves in a specific area or work out or go outside when it's the winter. Guilty. I'm really not good with cold weather. We all, especially like in January at the beginning of the new year, when the New Year's resolutions and this energy kind of like stops being so strong. And by the way, I'm just playing with my hair because I haven't done it in this way for a while as well, and I'm just like wanting it to be as pretty as it can be. So if that annoys you, I'm not gonna apologize because that's my live stream and you came here, so you're gonna be stuck with me playing with my hair if I like it, because it's pretty, it's nice. This energy of being like, yeah, new year, new me, that probably already stopped being very, very important. It usually is by the end of January. That's why I also wanted to hold this space at the end of this first month of the year to, first of all, meet you guys, to be here with you, to chat about where we are, where you are, and how I can help you with your English, and how we can all just have this 1 hour, 45 minutes to an hour together to basically chill a little. Like I said, like there's a lot happening right now. everywhere, no matter where you live in the world. We don't want to be feeling overwhelmed. We don't want to be feeling like there is no time for anything. I certainly don't want that for myself, and I think you don't want that for yourself either. So if learning English, if using English, speaking confidently, fluently, feeling like English is something that you enjoy, is important to you, then I hope that English Sanctuary will be the place where you can ask your questions in a safe space, where you can receive your feedback from me, your language mentor, your linguist in charge, and where we can all basically have a little fresher perspective, like a perspective refresher, like a mindset upgrade, because all of us need an upgrade or an update, like every software. Our brain is a software too. So we all just need to sometimes like take a minute, see where we are, and see what action to take to get where we want to be. Right? Right? Who's with me? Let me know, by the way, in the chat if you're here live. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments, because I will be going back to your comments for future live streams as well. But I'll explain how it works in a second. But first, in the live chat, in the comments, say hi, tell me where you're watching from. I'm in Warsaw, Poland, Europe, the heart of Europe. By the way, this map above me, this is not Warsaw. This is Brno in Czech, yeah, the Czech Republic. Why, you ask? Well, Brno is very, very important to me. It's a place that is very close to my heart. And I have the map of Wrocław on a different wall. It just so happens that I don't have the map of the place where I am currently living, but it doesn't matter. So if you're from Brno, a special shout out to you. You're featured probably in this live stream. If you're in Brno, I probably can point to where you are. That is too creepy. Okay. So tell me where you're watching from, and tell me if you're excited about this, because I am. I really wanted to find a place, a type of online hanging out with you that I would feel I can help you best in, and that I feel like is the best extension of my energy in a way, because I am all about healing. I am all about introspection. I am all about sitting with myself, talking to myself, and being like, oh, how do you feel, Laura? What do you need? So I want to create that space for you too. So I will tell you now about the structure of this live stream very quickly, and also what you can expect from it and from this series, hopefully, and what you can expect today particularly. So I have an intention that everyone here who is here either with us live or during a replay, my intention is that I can help you open your mind, that I can help you open your heart, and I can help you in a way that you walk away from this live stream feeling like you have an increased knowledge of English, and that you have an increased confidence in English. That is my intention. That's how I want to contribute to your life, and I want to extend my gratitude for choosing, for the fact that you chose to spend this time with me. So I'm really glad that I can be of service to you in this way, and if you want me to help you, that's how you can do it. You can stay here and I will tell you how you can also submit your question. This is a live stream where I will be doing two things, and it's going to be divided into two parts. Part one is going to be me teaching, mentoring, talking about a specific point that I feel like needs to be discussed in the topic of learning English. So it might be something related to the mindset, it might be something very practical related to a specific pronunciation thing, which I'm also going to talk about how I can help you with in a second. It can be something related to grammar, some vocabulary tips, it can be anything, but this is something that I basically feel into and share from my heart, from my mind, from my experience, from my knowledge to you, with you, to help you in your journey. Part 2 of this live stream, and it's going to be today, like the first half and the second half. The second half is going to be, depending on how many questions we have, is going to be devoted to responding to your questions, responding to your problems that you submitted, because we talked about this first English sanctuary for a little bit over on my Instagram, here on YouTube, on Facebook, and on my newsletter, on my website. Like, I shared the news about this live stream with everyone in my world, and I asked you guys to submit your questions. Like, if you have a question about English, if you have a problem, if you struggle with something related to English, this is going to be always addressed in part 2 of the live stream. So if you submitted your question beforehand, you can expect that I will address it and help you with it during the live stream. And now, if you're here watching me live, and I can see 5 thumbs up and 7 people watching me live, so make sure to say hi in the chat. I'm here spending time with you. I also want to like feel the interaction, so please just say hi as well. If you're here watching and you're listening to me and you're like, shit, I forgot to submit something to Laura, fear not. You can do so by using the chat. So I can see the chat on the screen. You can submit anything that you struggle with when it comes to English, and I will be responding to it live if you make it today live with us. If not, and you're watching this live stream as a replay and you want to submit for next time, you can either watch and follow me everywhere on my all social media and wait for me to share like the info box for you to submit something, or which is going to be easier, you can use the comment section and you can put in the comments something that you want me to address next time. So next time I will be revisiting, going back to the comments under this live stream, and I'll be pulling from these comments and I'll be helping during the next live stream. I hope that makes sense. So if you want to, you can submit your struggles. It can be anything. You are scared of speaking English in front of people. You sometimes question your own grammar choices, tenses, conditionals, whatever it might be. You don't know how to practice speaking on your own. You don't know how to learn more vocabulary, more advanced vocabulary, how to feel and sound more natural, how to improve your accent. If you struggle with anything English related, put it in the comments, put it in the live chat. Okay. Oh, we're gonna have also like a very short introduction to me, because I assume that if you're here, you know me, but I'm also aware that live streams can get to anyone, and you can be watching this and be like 13 minutes in and you're like, who is this girl? Well, I'm gonna tell you who I am, but just in a second. I'm just gonna finish going through the rules of how this works, my terms and my conditions for this live stream with you. So if you are here and you want to learn from me, that's amazing. You can support each other in the chat as well. In the comments, you can help out anyone who is in need. However, if you're not polite, if you're a troll, if you spread hate and negativity, or you do anything that violates the rules of English Sanctuary, you're gonna be moved out of this space, you're gonna be blocked, you're gonna be deleted, your comment is gonna be deleted, because we are not allowing that in this space. I am not allowing, and I will never allow anything like that under any of my videos, live streams, anything like that. And that's not because I'm blocking people's freedom of speech. I am blocking people who are being intruders in my space. So that's how it's gonna work. I don't assume that the people who are here are going to do that, but I just wanted to put that out there. So this is the end of the rules, and now we're gonna go into the beginning of part 1. Let me just take a sip of water. Please do so, hydrate yourself as well. Okay, because this is an English Sanctuary, and we are starting now with the teaching part, I am not only a teacher of English, I am a linguist, I am a mentor, and I approach everything very, I know this word, it gets thrown around like it's like a buzzword, but I really look at things holistically. I really look at life as a system that is so interconnected that if we do something to one thing, it affects everything else. And one thing that I also am certified in teaching and in practicing and leading is breathwork and meditation. Now, we're not gonna meditate for an hour here. It's not gonna happen, but it's called English Sanctuary for a reason. I want to create a space where you can also see what kind of practices outside from learning English I use on a daily or sometimes almost daily basis to feel good, to learn more effectively, to learn faster, and to learn for longer so that I retain the information that I learn for longer. But it's not only for the purely theoretical knowledge of how to use English in this case, or how to do something. It's also about the embodiment of this knowledge. So sometimes when people approach me and ask me, Laura, how is it that you speak English so well? How is it that you don't have any problems speaking? Like, you're not afraid, you're not ashamed of your accent. By the way, you sound amazing. You're not, like, when I listen to you, you don't sound like a non-native speaker. You feel so natural. You have this presence that helps everyone else. And the truth is, I became that person because I felt into how it would feel in my body if I was a person who felt like that about English every single day. I became that person because when I was 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 27, 28, 29, every single day I chose how I want to feel about my English, how I want to exist in this world as an English speaker, and how I want to present myself. This is like the very, very basic expression of an explanation of how it works, but I get these questions all the time. Something that helps me with it is something not related to English at all. However, for me, it's also related to English 100%. And hi, Laura, my name is Pratik. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Pratik. And I'm from India. Hi. Hello, it's so good to have you here. I hope you're gonna enjoy this English sanctuary vibe, and maybe you will recognize some of the things that I am talking about here, because I'm gonna talk about breathwork and meditation. So when it comes to me being able to speak English so well and use English so confidently, it's also because I practice speaking to myself in my mind and speaking to myself in my heart, and just sitting with myself and being calm in my body and being in tune with what is happening with me internally. So before we go into the teaching of today, I want all of us to take 5 deep breaths in and out. Okay? That's something that I do at the beginning of all of my sessions, all of my live streams. And I want to encourage you to do it as if you were doing it for the first time. So if you have some practice of like being, okay, yeah, 5 deep breaths in and out, I want you to feel like this is the first time ever that anyone asked you to take a deep breath. Okay? So I want you to have an open mind, open heart to this one thing, to taking 5 breaths in and out. Okay? All right, so I just want you to, I don't know, you can close your eyes, you don't have to, but it's just gonna be 5 in and 5 out. So let's all take the first breath through our nose together. A deep, deep, deep breath in. And out through your mouth, just like even with a sigh or like an exhale that you can hear, like, ah. Sometimes we need that. I definitely need that. Okay, number 2, deep breath in. And exhale out through the mouth. Good, good. In through your nose. and out through the mouth. Number 4, in through your nose. We're almost there. In and in. And out through your mouth. And the last one, make it the deepest breath you've taken today. Okay, so number 5, in through your nose. More. And out through your mouth until there's no air left in your lungs. And now a breath in and out, and we're coming back to our bodies right now. You can open your eyes if you had them closed. Are we good? Are we good? Taking breaths in and out like this, extending maybe even to more breaths, like 10 breaths, or maybe going into like box breathing or an alternate nostril breathing technique. If you've been in my Live and Breathe English program, you understand what I'm talking about. But sometimes when we are tense or when we show up and we feel like there's something that is not really right and we can't be fully present, taking breaths, deep, intentional, mindful breaths in and out can really set us right in. And something that is connected to learning English and breathwork is that when we want to be in a state where our mind is absorbing information more easily, so to go into this deep learning state, we want to go into the brainwaves that are helpful for that. And breathwork can be a tool that we can use to, first of all, regulate our nervous system, and second of all, to go into those calmer states of mind to access the deep learning states. But this is something that we can talk about in the future. Just for today, I want you to realize that breathing can be really helpful in also learning something. So that's why I wanted to do it at the beginning today. Whew. So if you haven't already, because we are 23 minutes in, you can also say hi in the chat. I can see that I pronounced pratique correctly, so thank you so much. So come say hi, tell me where you're watching from, and also if you want me to help you something with your English. I'm gonna sneeze. Bless you, Laura. If you want me to help you with something related to your English, put it in the comments. I will address it in like 10-15 minutes. So if you struggle with anything, let me know. I have one submission from Instagram, and we're gonna talk about that. But also, if you have any other questions, you can ask me them here. Oh, and just as a reminder, this is English Sanctuary, where we just meet to hang out, to chill, and to not stress about speaking English, using English, or anything related to English or ourselves. When I was recording Insta stories and reels about this, about English Sanctuary, to talk about it, to basically invite people to come hang out with us, I was doing that in the kitchen. And in my kitchen on the wall, because I have things on walls everywhere, if you were to come here, you would see everything on my walls, like my life is on my walls. So in the kitchen, I have this quote, which is something that I want to bring into English Sanctuary as well. Let me start over because I feel like I need a sip of water. So in my kitchen, I have this quote that I want to bring into English Sanctuary, and that is, I refuse to fucking dopierdalać się to myself. It's a Polish English quote, and that basically means that, to paraphrase it in English, I am ready to finally get off my fucking back. Because if I continue to talk shit to myself, if I continue to feel like I'm not good enough, if I continue to feel like nothing that I'm doing is worth doing, or like that my English is not where I want it to be because of XYZ, that will lead me nowhere. And it can be applied to everything, not only English, but I refuse to fucking dopierdalać shit to myself. I am gonna fucking get off my fucking back because I am not gonna be the person who drags myself down. So if we were to meet in the kitchen, you will also see it here on this wall. But instead you have Brno, you have the plant, and you have Nashville. A very interesting combination. So, for those of you also who don't know, very quickly, I'm Laura Maliszewska in Polish. I am a linguist. I graduated from English Studies and Linguistics from the University of Wrocław. I wrote my 2 dissertations, my BA and my master's, on syntax and morphology and on the subjunctive of French and coordination. I've done a lot of work on that. For the past 5 years, I have been leading my YouTube channel and my online business, and this is the end of my 5th year. So June is going to be the beginning of my 6th year on YouTube. And I have courses, I have workshops, I have master classes, and I have now this English sanctuary where I basically help people with their English because I'm bilingual. I'm Polish, but I'm bilingual, and you can learn all about that on my YouTube channel later on. So I'm gonna leave you with my resources at the end. So this is why I want to help you. Many people who come to me, and this is the teaching part, many people who come to me at different points of their English learning journey. Some of them come to me after they have been learning English since primary school. Some people come to me when they just started learning a few months or years ago. Some people come to me when they want to go into their next level. So let's say they are on B1, B2 levels and they want to take exams and want to be at C1, C2 levels. Some people come to me because they need to practice speaking at work. Some people come to me because they need to get into university. Some people come to me, and I could go on and on and on, but the essence of this is that people come to me at different stages of their English learning journeys. And what brings them together, what they have in common, is that all of them, mostly, like 99% of people who come to me, have some kind of issue with themselves when it comes to English, because they feel like they are not where they think they should be when it comes to their English. Here's what I mean. So if you're, let's say, Polish, because that's gonna be the closest to home. So if you are Polish and you are, let's say, 29, like me, okay? So let's take someone who is in a very similar situation. So someone who's 29, who's Polish, and they are learning English. Chances are, this is what your journey looked like. And you can apply it to yourself, whoever is watching. You probably started in primary school. You started learning English at school with your classmates, and depending on what kind of school you went to and what kind of teacher you had, you either learned something or you were just there. Sometimes when we talk about primary school experiences when it comes to learning English, when I ask my clients that, they sometimes tell me that they remember that they started in primary school, or they just remember they had classes, but they don't remember learning anything particular. And that's good. Moving on, you probably had some classes in either middle school, gymnasium, if that was your thing when you were going to school. I went to gymnasium, and later on in high school. And again, depending on whether you had English in primary school before or not, because some people don't, some people learn German, for instance. When you go to high school and you learn English, again, the situation might be very, 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 very similar. You either remember something from those classes, like, yeah, I remember I had a good teacher, I was learning about this and this and that, but then something happened. Or you may remember, yeah, we had English classes, but, and then the list goes on, because so many people come to me, and I know that because the schooling system is a mess, But I know that especially it's true for English classes, and language classes in particular, that we as people who went to school sometimes had more than one teacher, sometimes even in a year, when it comes to English. Like I have had people come to me who told me that in high school they had 6 different English teachers in 3 or 4 years, because I'm gonna say, like, generally, usually, but mostly English teachers are women predominantly, and most of them are young women. So they tend to get pregnant, and the school needs to get a replacement. Or something happens, and the teacher decides to change schools, and you need to have a replacement teacher. Sometimes it's heart related, health related, like someone falls ill. Like my mom was a teacher in high school, and she was sick with cancer, and she needed multiple replacements for her classes, not English classes, but like just classes in general. So I know that when we learn something at school, much of it, like much of what we get out of the classes in this traditional schooling system, is also related to the structure. So whether we have one teacher for the whole 3 years or not, or whether we have like a good teacher, because we might even have a bad teacher. I cannot tell you how many times people come to me and they tell me that they had a traumatic experience with their English teacher or their language teacher. But let's say you went through primary school and you had some English classes. Then you went through high school and you had some English classes. And then let's say you went to university and you had English classes, because mostly at universities, and I'm again in the Polish example, right? So mostly you need to have, like, it's called lektorat. So it's called like a not faculty, like an extracurricular or like a program language course. So you need to take this language course in order to pass your university courses and just move on to the next year, right? And that can be a roulette, because at that point, you are, if you're at university and you have English classes, you have English classes with so many more different people. Because in primary school and in high school, and generally when you live in the same town or city and go to the same school for 4 years with the same people, you get to have the same experience more or less. Like of course there's going to be someone who is better at something than you and worse at something than you, but generally this is the same pool of people that we talk about. But then the university level, college level, this is where people get to mix, and they meet people from all sorts of places in the country or from all different parts of the world. So suddenly you are in a group at university and you learn English together with someone who had a totally different experience of learning English than you. And then you had, like, so let's say, I don't know, 20 people like that, and you are all theoretically supposed to be on the same level, and you start your classes and it turns out that all of you are on different levels, and that there might be people who are more fluent, who are more confident, who are just feeling better about their English, and you're there after your experience and you start to give up. I had so many people who told me that after high school, they started university, they had this language program for like 3 or 4 semesters, and after that, they basically stopped improving their English. Mostly at this point is where the tipping point comes for many people. And it's because of comparison. And all of it is because of comparison. I don't want to be going into like the whole thing about the schooling system. I talked about it in my podcast episode that I did with Speakly. It's on my YouTube channel. You can watch it. It's like there is a whole section that we talk about the schooling system that you can watch. But if what I've been sharing so far resonates with you, and you feel like, yes, Laura, you're describing my experience, or maybe your experience was even like less perfect because you didn't have any classes in primary school or high school. You started in university, and then you started in the beginners group, and then you had your own experience there. Like, regardless of where you are, let's say you have graduated and you have your own baggage. You have your own baggage of experiences of learning English. There might be a point when you realize that learning English or using English has never been something that has been easy for you, that you maybe never even had a good teacher, that maybe other people seem to get it a bit more than you or faster than you, or there might be something, let's say, like quote unquote wrong with how you're learning. And if you're at that point, or if you're in a different point, if you're like, yeah, I've been learning all my life and I'm good, but I just need a few tips, that's also good. Or if you're like, I'm only watching your videos, Laura, but when it comes to speaking, no, I'm not gonna speak. I have something for you. I'm gonna talk about it, talk about it at the end. Regardless of where you are in your journey, I want you to realize, and this is something for me as well, and that relates to everything, not only English, it relates to working out, it relates to meditating, it relates to earning money, changing your life, moving to a different country, like anything that is like something that you want to do, your dream or your passion or your goals. If you are where you are right now, that means that you shouldn't be anywhere else. If you are at a point where you don't like where you are, like you don't like this point where you are, like you don't feel motivated, you don't feel inspired, you feel stuck, or maybe you feel like there's no point in learning anything new, or you feel like there is nothing under the sun that can help you, or maybe you feel like you've tried everything and you still feel like you will never be fluent in English. I want you to know that it's okay to be here at this point. Like it's okay to be at this point. Because this is the point where you can start over. You can start again, you can choose again, and you can decide that this time it's gonna be a little bit better. It's gonna be a little bit different, because why not? Why not? I had this conversation just before coming to this English Sanctuary meeting with you. And I hope he's not gonna be angry with me, but he's not gonna watch it. Even though he's my brother, he's not gonna watch it, this this live stream. But my brother is an American football player. He's Polish too, but he's an American football player. He's not a professional football player yet, but he's been playing, like he is a sports person, like just like our mom. And he's been playing football, I think, for, I don't know, 7 years now in a few different teams. And right now they started playing in the Polish league, and this is their first season. And he called me like an hour before we were supposed to start, and I recognized straight away that he's struggling with something. And we were talking, and he told me, Laura, I don't feel well about myself. Like, I'm at work, I feel like this and this and that, and I just need to talk to someone. I was like, okay, let's talk. And it turned out that he hasn't been to practice in 3 weeks. They are starting the season in March, and my brother hasn't been to the practice, which is like 4 times a week. He hasn't been to any practice for 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So he missed like 12 practice sessions. And I was like, okay, I understand that you're feeling this and this. And I understand that you need to drive an hour to the practice because it's not in the same town where he lives. It's a different town team. And I understand that you probably don't feel good about this, and you feel like you are shit, and you feel like you already disappointed yourself, and you feel like, yeah, because you know, sometimes when we start doing something and then we stop, even when we have the obligation to do something, but then we don't do it for any reason, after some time we can build up the resentment, like it can build up inside of ourselves. So you can apply it to your English journey. Maybe you've been wanting to improve your English for months or weeks or years, maybe depending on where you are. Maybe you've been feeling like, yeah, I should, just like my brother who wants to play football, right? Like he hasn't been to practice for 3 weeks. Maybe you haven't been taking the English classes at your company that you have wanted to take, because of some problem, because of some excuse, or maybe because of the emotional block that you have. Or maybe you've been promising to yourself, yeah, I'm gonna start, I don't know, Duolingo or whatever. Or you promise to yourself, yes, I am gonna take Laura's advice and I am going to talk to myself more often, but for some reason, you weren't doing that. You haven't been doing that regularly. And I don't know what the reason is, and I don't know how you got here, and it's not really important. It doesn't matter. What matters is, and this is what I told my brother, what what matters is you recognizing what you want, you recognizing who you want to become. And that's the problem. That's the root of the issue. Because in the moments when we put our intentions away, when we put our dreams away, when we postpone doing something, when we focus on the reasons why we can't and why we don't want to and why we are scared and why we don't have the energy and why we feel like it's not going to work anyway, when we feel like we've tried so many times and it hasn't worked, when we feel like we are just disappointed in ourselves and what's the point, when we focus on that energy, and I'm pausing for a second because I do that too. When we focus on that, it's not gonna take us anywhere but exactly where we are. And that's the fucking hard truth that we don't sometimes want to hear. That we sometimes don't want to hear. And I am talking from experience. The example that I just shared, my brother, who's been playing American football for 6-7 years, forgive me, Camille, I have no idea. I forgot. He hasn't been to practice for the past 3 weeks because of XYZ, whatever it is. We all sometimes fall into this. I have fallen victim of this multiple times in my life in all types of areas. But the thing that we have to fucking swallow and realize is that if we are where we are right now and we don't want to be here, you have to tell yourself, well, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? If you are a person who wants to learn English, how much of it do you want to learn? How advanced do you want to be? What is your goal? I want you to, okay, I wasn't planning on giving you homework, but this is like the most basic homework. And I want you to show up next time for English Sanctuary and tell me the answer to that question. I want you to take a journal. If you don't have a journal, start one even for this live stream, this series, okay? Start and call it the English Sanctuary Journal. And I want you to answer this question as specifically, in as much detail as you can. What do you want to do in English? That's a simple question, but I want you to tell me exactly to the point of unnecessary detail what you want to do in English. So let me give you an example from my own life. Okay? Okay. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee and I'm gonna tell you that. So I'm just gonna connect to myself for this. And you can also do so, by the way, in a meditation. You can do some breaths before. So I'm gonna I'm going to demonstrate how I'm gonna do it. And you can do that in any way. You can just sit down, write it down, or you can just think about it. I'm gonna do it my way. So this is the English Sanctuary way. So I'm gonna put 2 hands on my belly and on my heart, and I'm gonna take a breath and I'm gonna start talking, okay? So Laura, what do you want to do in English? So as a Polish person who still lives in Poland, but that's not my reality for my dream life, so I'm gonna move out at some point. But when I'm still here, I want to use English to show everyone around me, Polish or not Polish, that speaking English is easy, that it doesn't have to be as difficult and as competitive as it got to be in Poland, because all of us still compare our spoken English to the next person, and we feel like our English is not good enough, that we make more mistakes, that our mistakes are worse than others. We feel like everyone remembers our mistakes, that everyone judges us based on how we speak and how many mistakes we make, or how much it takes us, how much time it takes us to come up with an answer. I want to speak English to show people that they have nothing to worry about, that they shouldn't be so scared. I want to speak English as a mentor with how many years now? 26 years of experience. I'm 29. I started speaking English when I was 3. I want to show people as a person with 26 years of speaking experience that it is okay to feel afraid. It's okay to feel like your English is not where you want it to be, and still speak, because without practice, people will get nowhere. You will get nowhere unless you practice. You won't become a professional football player unless you practice. You won't become a guitarist if you don't play the guitar. You won't become a person who uses English confidently at work to talk to clients unless you practice speaking English to anyone, period. So when I'm asking the people who are watching this live stream right now, what do you want to do in English? I want you to go into detail. So for me, again, you can write it out for yourself, but for me, for Laura, I want to live in English. I want to use English on a daily basis. I want to use English confidently at the store. I want to talk to clients in English. I want to write my emails in English. I want to write my social media posts in English. I want to know that my English is good enough, not because it's perfect, not because it doesn't have any mistakes, because sometimes even I make mistakes, and I notice them way too long after. To correct the post, to correct something that I said. Even in this live stream, I made a few, not even mistakes, but slips of tongue, or I said something and then I corrected myself because I'm human. But I want to use English in that way to show people that after however many years of learning through primary school, high school, university, or whatever type of journey of learning English you've been on, you have a right to use your English. You should use your English. I want people to be like, if Laura uses her English, I'm gonna use mine. And that's my intention for me as a mentor who wants to help with English. I want to help people with English. So I want to use it fully, confidently, fluently, knowing that I am understood and people listen to me and understand what I'm talking about, and that they are not judging me and they are communicating with me, because English is the tool for communication. So that's how I would approach it. I would approach it from how I want to feel when I speak, and what are the specific activities that I want to do in English. And then every single day, after you have written this out in your journal, I want you to practice at some point. I want you to do at least one thing in English that you wrote out that you want to do. And I want you to come back next time to English Sanctuary and I want to know how it went for you, because we're going to be here for longer. It's not going to be even an hour. I'm going to be here for a little longer than 1 hour. And we're going to be here for longer also when it comes to this series. I want this to be a series when you can come back and check in with yourself and be more intentional and more mindful of your English. And you can do it. You can do it. That's why I called it English Sanctuary. I want you to heal your English. I want you to heal your energy, and I want you to feel that you feel better when you speak. Okay? So, with that being said, this is the perfect time to go into your questions. And I had one submission on Instagram through the story question box. So I'm gonna address this person's submission to the English Sanctuary when I find it. So you can still submit something in the chat if you have it. If you have... Okay, I'm just looking at the chat. Everything is okay. Perfect, thank you. So I'm looking at the chat, looking at the submission. Okay, here it is. When I speak to someone, I worry about mistakes. That's it. That's the only thing that I got for you. When I speak to someone, I worry about mistakes. So to the person who submitted this and to anyone who's watching, listen. Mistakes in English are different than anything else because we have been taught that it's okay to make mistakes. I hope you've been taught that it's okay to make mistakes in life, that if you do something wrong, you can always correct it, that if you chose something and you don't like it, you can choose again, you can change your decision. If you, and I've done so many of these types of things. So I changed my studies. I failed my driving test, the practical part, 2 times until I got it right and passed it at the 3rd try. I've done so many things like people can call mistakes. And that's one thing. But when it comes to speaking mistakes or English mistakes or mistakes that are related to how we learn something at school, so coming back to the schooling system, that is a different story because at school, when we make a mistake, we get a lower grade. Right? When we make a mistake, we are being judged because of it, and we are being graded. And if it's less than perfect, if it's not 100% and we make a mistake, we get minus points. And that's why I'm saying that it's different, because if you are being graded on something that you make a mistake in, you learn, you internalize that it's better if you don't make a mistake, because then you won't get a lower grade. But what it leads to is that it stops you from using English, from performing English, from trying even, because you're scared that you will make the mistake and that you will get a lower grade. So in order to prevent that from happening, you prefer not to speak at all, and that's how you get the famous language speaking block. So when this person submitted that and said that they worry about their mistakes, I'm not surprised, because I've been talking about, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have talked about it for so long. I have so many speaking videos, like videos on how to speak and how to improve your confidence. Even on this channel, you can watch them when we finish. I have a whole separate playlist for that. So I've talked about it at length for years and years and years and years and years because I understand that this is something that people struggle with. So to this person, I have this piece of advice: go watch those videos as well. But for this time, oh my God, I have so much that I want to say because like I said, I talk about it so much. But realize that you're not at school anymore. This is like the most basic thing. Realize that you're not at school anymore. And if you are an adult, which I assume you are, if you are an adult who uses English, let's say in a professional setting, and you talk to clients, and let's say you worry about making a mistake with a client, realize you're not at school anymore. Realize that this client is not your English teacher. Even if it's a native speaker, it's not your language teacher. This is a person who's there for a different reason. This is a person who wants to communicate with you over something, about something that you both need to do, like a project or a deal or a schedule or anything. And English is a tool of communication for both of you, and it's not something that is going to be the basis for your performance. You're not going to be graded by this client. This client is not going to give you like, yeah, When you said, I usually go for a walk, did you use present simple or present continuous? And did you use it correctly or not? Like, they're not going to question you. They're not going to be marking your performance. So realize when you worry about mistakes in any context with anyone, be it a native speaker or not, a native speaker of English or not, because it's also kind of different, especially for Polish people, because I've had experience with Polish people. But it's also different when we speak English to someone who is also not a native speaker of English and you're both using English as foreigners. That's also a different types of interaction than just speaking to a native speaker of English. And that's something that I went into an hour and a half explanation of that in module, I believe 12 of my How to Learn Languages course. So if you're interested in like a masterclass on that, you can also check out How to Learn Languages. It's on my website. But regardless, it's a different situation when we think we make mistakes with someone who is a native speaker and someone who is not a native speaker. But regardless, realize this is the basis for everything. You're not at school anymore. No one is going to give you a bad grade. Nobody is going to give you a note that you're going to present to your parents. Nobody is going to tell you, yeah, you failed this class or you failed this conversation because you used this word or this verb incorrectly. Nobody is gonna do that. More than that, the second thing, and this is gonna be the last thing that I want you to remember after today, that first of all, you're not at school anymore. And second of all, the person that you worry is judging you judges themselves more than you. All of us are inside of our own heads worrying about ourselves. Our brains are developed in a way that it loves to think about itself. It loves to worry about itself. It loves to pretend that they are the center of the universe. And guess what? We are to ourselves, not to other people. If you came here and you're listening to me, you're probably judging yourself still more than whatever I said. If you go to any meeting, if you go to any conversation, if you have any conversation with anyone, look next time when you're having a conversation with English with anyone, look who you're judging more, the person you're talking to or yourself. Probably yourself. Why? Because you judge yourself to criticize and to pinpoint what you did wrong. And this is something that we all do. But what does it prove? It proves that you don't focus on anyone else but yourself at this moment. Which also means that if you worry about someone judging you, probably they are not judging you. They are judging themselves. They're worrying about them fucking selves. They're thinking, have I made a mistake? They probably have sweaty palms and they feel like, I probably said something inappropriate, or I probably said something in the wrong tense, or I probably made a fool out of myself, or was the joke that I made funny? Was I cool enough when I said, hi, nice to meet you? Like, they probably worry about their stuff, themselves. So when you are having a conversation and you worry that someone judges you, remember that you're not at school anymore, and that they probably judge themselves way more than you think they judge you, and probably they judge themselves even more harshly than you judge yourself. So that's something that I wanted to start a conversation about, to give you something to have to think about. If you want to go into this topic more, you can go to YouTube, either to my channel, and just browse around, look around, see what kind of videos I've made about speaking, about the mindset of speaking and using English, but also just Google and search on YouTube and find how to not think about making mistakes, how not to worry about making mistakes if this, what I said, is not good enough for you or not enough for you because you worry about it more. Maybe there's some trauma there, in which case I understand. I am a trauma survivor. I was bullied at school. I was psychologically tortured by my own father. Like, I understand. I understand what it feels like to overcome your own struggles in your own mind and feel like you can't be helped, or you feel like everyone is against you. Like, I know that. So if you have struggled with that as well, maybe look into therapy, because sometimes what I also found is that people are blocked from speaking, not only because they have bad learning experiences or they haven't learned, but also they have some traumatic experiences from school or from their life that make all of these experiences make them think or make them feel, or have never helped them move past the thinking that they are the problem, they are the worst in the world, etc., etc. So that can be helped in therapy. But for you, if you worry about mistakes, remember, you're not at school anymore. People judge themselves way more harshly than they judge you, and no one will remember your mistakes. And if you need more resources on that, go into this topic in more detail, either on my channel, in my course, or on YouTube. Look for someone else's explanation as well. And also, I have some resource that I want to share with you in a second, but this is what I want you to remember. You're not at school anymore, and people are not judging you as harshly as you think. And coming back to the teaching part of today's English Sanctuary, remember that it's okay to be where you are and make a decision of, like, make a decision on where you want to be, what you want to do in English, how you want to move through your life in English, and how you want to feel. And I think this is the perfect time to look in at your comments, because I can see that there is something there. Should I learn an accent along with actively trying to learn speaking so I don't have to unlearn anything in the future? Or should I focus on speaking skills first and worry about accent later? Thank you so much, Pratik. That's actually the perfect question to end on, because I want you to check out my accent and speaking challenge, because we are at the end of the hour. I want you to take a look at the description of this live stream and at the comments. You will find the link to Accent and Speaking Challenge. It's called Roadmap Accent and Speaking Challenge, and it's a free 7-day challenge that I created back in 2021 that I also wanted to share with you. So it starts February 17. It's online, it's free, and it's called Accent and Speaking. So it actually goes into what you asked here. Should you focus on speaking first and not worry about your pronunciation, or work on everything at the same time, or first pronunciation then speaking? In general, I will tell you that it's good to focus on everything at once. However, you also know yourself best. So if it's something that you recognize you struggle with when it comes to linking everything together, so let's say you have worked on your pronunciation and you have worked on your accent, it's good to test it in practice when you speak. But if you also have trouble speaking and your accent is holding you back, then it's probably better to segment it, to put it in different places and take it step by step. And this is something that we do inside the Accent and Speaking Challenge. It's a challenge that takes you through 7 days. Every single day you get 2 or sometimes even 3 free videos that are related to improving your accent and pronunciation, number 1. Number 2, putting what you learned in number 1 into your speaking practice. And if you have a bonus video on some days, that's probably a mindset video. So how to work with your emotions, how to work with your language block, how to focus on putting everything together, that kind of thing. And I invite you to take it, and I invite everyone who is here, if you feel like this is something that could help you with your fluency, with your pronunciation, with your accent. It's free. We have had over 1,500 people taking the challenge over the course of 5 rounds. This is our 6th round. We started in 2021, it's 2025. So I want you to have this opportunity to improve your English skills, to improve your speaking skills, and to be there with me and with learners from literally all over the world to focus on really digging into how you can speak better, speak more confidently, speak more fluently, and also with a pronunciation that is not holding you back, but really unlocks you, sets you free. That's how I would put it. Currently, I focus on listening and vocabulary. What do you think? I think you're doing awesome. I think if you focus on listening, which is sometimes really pushed aside in the schooling system, like listening is usually like the least, and speaking. Okay, so it's listening and then it's speaking. But if you focus on listening and you start to listen to more people speaking English, it's going to enhance everything. It's going to enhance your passive memory, passive understanding. It's going to help you recognize the speaking patterns, the intonation patterns, the sound linking patterns, the different types of structuring your vocabulary and your sentences. Like, this is awesome. So if you're focusing on that, great job. If you want to focus on speaking and pronunciation, do not miss the Accent and Speaking Challenge. So we still have 17 days to start. If you're watching this way after February, if you're watching this in March, April, or even in 2027, check out the link, because we do this every single year. And this year we're gonna have it in February. But if you miss the challenge this time, you can go and sign up for the wait list. You can sign up for the wait list, and you're gonna wait until we open the challenge next time. So regardless of where you are, you can join us at any time. Whew. And that was the vibe of English Sanctuary. So today, I also showed up where I was. Like, I have spots on my face. I felt a little anxious beforehand, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, it's the first live stream that I've done on YouTube for a while, so I was a little bit nervous, but I wanted to bring this energy of healing, of starting over, of not dopierdalania się to ourselves, of getting off our own fucking backs. I want to share this type of energy with you so that you can take it wherever you go. I want you to feel that there is someone who really understands your struggles, who understands where you are, and who gives you no bullshit advice. Because yes, it's good to sometimes feel our feelings and be like very, very, very gentle with ourselves. And I know that because, like I said, I'm a trauma survivor. I know that. But there are also times when you have to be like, okay, I'm done with my own bullshit. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna practice again. I'm gonna schedule some time for practicing English again. Even if I've done it 1,000 times and I haven't been able to stick to it, and I haven't stuck to it, this time I'm gonna stick to it. And I hope that this time, whatever this time means for you, is gonna be different and you're gonna stick to it. Yeah. So if you have gone this far in the live stream and you have a question for next time, if you have an English problem for next time, first of all, put it in the comments. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna revisit the comments for the next live stream. Second of all, go to my YouTube channel and go to the English learning, English speaking, linguistics playlists and check out the videos that I've made there. Watch all of them. They are free. And I've made tons of them because I'm a linguist. I'm an English mentor. That's what I do for a living. That's my fucking job, okay? Helping you with English. So go to my channel, go to my playlists, and watch all of the videos that you feel are gonna help you because they address the problem that you're currently facing. If you desire more, and if you want to improve your speaking and pronunciation, go to the challenge link, sign up now. You're gonna get an email with all of the rules and how it's gonna work, how the challenge is gonna begin, when everything, like all of the details are gonna be there when you sign up. Just remember to confirm your sign up, because if you sign up, you have to go to your inbox and then say, yes, I confirm, and then you're gonna be able to participate. So remember about that. And you can also follow me on Instagram. You can subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and you will be notified about the future live streams that we have. I hope that today gave you the power, the insight, the inspiration, the motivation, and the mindset shift that you needed to move on, to start February, to start this year, because even though it's the end of January, we are still at the very beginning of the year. Everything is possible. You can do anything you want with your English. You can get the promotion, you can get the job, you can go travel, you can move to the country that you want to move to. You can start your degree at the university where you want to study in English. You can talk to clients, you can start your business, you can use English in regular conversations, you can do whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you desire, whatever you dream about. I hope that this gave you the energy to do that. And if you need more, go to the challenge and submit anything you need right here for next time for English Sanctuary. And before we go, before I go, before you go, I want all of us to take 5 more deep breaths in and out, and we're gonna sign off. Is that okay? Is that a deal? 1 more sip of water, and we're gonna be done. Okay, so just like at the beginning, you can close your eyes or not, whatever you prefer. And let's take 5 deep breaths in and out. So when you take a breath, I want you to feel the breath traveling all the way to your belly. So not like this. No. I want you to feel the air traveling to your belly and then moving to your chest. And then when we exhale, focus on releasing as much air, or maybe even all of the air from your lungs. And then when you take the next breath, it's gonna be like you're on empty, and then you take the breath, okay? All right, so this time, I'm not gonna count you in, I'm also gonna focus on the breathing, so you can go alongside me at my pace, or you can go at your own pace. So the deepest breaths you've taken down to the belly, then into the chest, you can hold for a second at the top, release until you have no air in the lungs, and do it 5 times all together, okay? All right, so you can close your eyes if you want to, and let's start with our breath. Three more. Two more. Last one. And allow your breath to fall back into its natural rhythm. Open your eyes. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much for being here. My heart goes out to you. I am extremely grateful that you spent this hour and 15 minutes with me and with people from all over the world who joined us live. We've had 15 people at one point, so that's amazing. I hope that we get to as many people as we can with this type of energy, with this type of practice. So if you enjoyed English Sanctuary, if it brought you some peace, some calm, some humor, some energy, some inspiration, some motivation, or even just some community, connection, share it with someone. Share it with someone who will also need this type of support in their English journey. Send the link to this live stream, send the link to this replay to anyone you feel like would benefit from what we did together. So I'll see you in the next English Sanctuary. I'll see you inside the Accent and Speaking Challenge. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. You can also email me. You can send me a DM on Instagram, and I will be there talking to you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for showing up. I am super happy that we get to do this together and that we've been doing this together for 5 years. Have a beautiful Friday, weekend, evening, morning, night, depending on where you're watching, when you're watching this. And I'll see you soon. Thank you guys. Bye bye.